And what is going on, everybody out there? All of you beauts and beauties, it is episode number 166 of Hat Trick Hockey, which is always brought to you by our good friends over at GL Heritage, the official beer of Hat Trick Hockey. If you like the shirts, smash the link on the post. I'll bring you right into our merch store for you to collect all of your sweet HTH merch. And here in studio with the fellas, first time as... first time as a trio, shall I say? I was going to say threesome, but that would sound kind of weird. So I didn't.
We're not golfing.
So, yeah. Jesus. So, what's up, fellas? Tristan, we'll go to you first. What's up, man? How'd the weekend go? How's everything been? It's been a little bit since we've been on the air, so.
Life's been pretty good the past week or so. I mean, aside from Dallas losing out, that was a tough go, but
yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching the Cup Finals. Ball hockey's in full swing.
That's what's really important.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
our team is terrible.
Really?
It's bad.
You need to call in the reliever. Get Ant in there.
We got Pat Chittle is carrying us right now.
I already told him I'll go stand in a spot and tee
Dude,
up.
we
if
need
you guys
you.
want
We
to
need you. But just I guess in the gym, and just last night I went over to my buddy Matt's and watched game one. A bunch of my buddies who are back from school up north, so I got to see them and stuff. So that was a fun time. But what about Brett here?
Question.
We'll bring in.
Okay.
Question.
What's up?
Okay, when we're talking about brooms in broom ball, like, are you cutting the broom, like the thistles in half so you can get like better like torque on the shot? Like, what's the intricacies of ball hockey? Like, where are the ebbs and flows? It's like, is there someone with like a Bobby Hull like banana blade in ball hockey?
Everyone just uses their normal twigs.
Okay, it is sticks.
Generally just a beater twig, like whatever you got laying around in the garage. Take the tape off because sometimes guys will do like one strip on the bottom, but tape generally it'll get torn up. It'll stick to the floor. Like,
I was getting broom ball mixed up with ball hockey.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
understandable.
But yeah, that's
Dash one on the new guy. That's Brett, by the way. That's our new guy. So.
Hey.
No, it's just use regular sticks.
Like I said, I'm not the type of guy that's gonna run around. Do I look like the type of guy that wants to run around anywhere?
No, you just normal twigs. You wear gloves and helmet. Mask is optional.
I'd wear the mask. Fuck yeah.
Like it's and you just wear shorts or whatever. If you wear pants, you're kind of a wimp.
I
just
see.
Eat the
Okay.
Shot.
All right.
Just eat the shot. Like
interesting.
Pretty much it.
Shit. I tell
it gets rough.
Shit.
I'm getting out the way.
You're gonna see everything when I'm on there.
I'm the net front guy, so tell me go to the net. I got good hand-eye, so I always get the greasy tip.
You guys use those orange balls?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know how to shoot those where they curve.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You keep it on the floor, like especially
nice
with
and
you
low,
wind up for a clapper and let it roll off the toe.
Yeah.
And you curve it around like tendy. Most of the tendies aren't really that great.
Fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
That's way to say
I
it.
probably wouldn't even hit the net half.
They're just trying. Like we had the one team was missing their goalie, so we went on the trainer. Shooting on the trainer shooter.
Oh, come on.
We sucked. We didn't score. We got shut out by the board.
Oh,
it was terrible. We lost like 3-0. It was a rough go.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It was a rough go.
Got shut out by an inanimate object.
Exactly. Hey, those holes are small, all right?
They are. No. Like I remember being so frustrated playing in like in the driveway as a kid, being like, you can't pick the corners, or you'd have to go like right up to the little slot and be like, oh, I got it, I sniped it. Like
my dad, when I was younger, we had the net or whatever, and then he bought a board and he just fucking cut out the corners of it. He cut out the corners and a triangle 5-hole,
like a piece of plywood or something. Yeah,
that was all it was.
Right on.
And I would because then you
Zip
can
ties.
shoot at it, you won't break it, you won't.
Yep.
Everything, and I shot at that thing for probably 3 years.
Gives a healthy rebound too.
I had a neighbor that would just shoot at his shed. He had like a little square, like little thing, and he would just tee off into his shed, like into the side of the shed. Like
there you go.
Well, see, we kind of did the same thing when we missed that net.
Yeah.
It was like we were shooting through the side of my dad's barn, and it's thick, dude.
Oh yeah.
The boards, and we were shooting through. Like to the other side. I told my dad, well, at least we shoot hard, but he's like, yeah, like you're putting holes in my, like literally I was shooting
costing
through
me
the barn.
money.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Well, fellas,
Yes.
Stanley Cup Finals are underway. Memorial Cup champions been crowned.
Oh,
What a game.
Let's start with the OHL.
Yep.
Shall we? Might as well, right? Like you said, what a game. I didn't I knew it was on, but then you had sent me a text. Brett sent me a text like, I think it was, are you watching this game?
It was wild.
It was crazy.
And
the comeback.
He was turn, and then it was 7.5 minutes left when I turned it on. It was 3-3. But Brett, you can kind of
it was a really, like, I thought that the way that Saginaw came out, like, they forechecked their asses off, and it was impressive. I forget what the total shots were after the first period, but after the second period, it was like 24-5.
Wow.
And I think the final shots on goal were 31-13. But that just goes to show the skill that the London Knights have, because they took advantage of like the smallest opportunities that Saginaw had. Like on the tying goal, there was like a bad change. It was a bad change in the neutral zone after a turnover. London comes back 2-on-1. The guy who got subbed on for wasn't able to get back in time. Feeds it over to Dickinson. He scores to tie it 3-3. But the effort that Saginaw had to get up 3-0, like they're up 2-0 after the first period. Owen Beck on a power play. It's a scramble on the draw. He finds the loose puck and just snaps it past Michael Simpson, like through two guys. Nothing really Simpson could do about it. Okay, you give him that 1-0.
Yeah.
Then later in the same period, it was, Landon Sim that got a elbowing major against Zane Perrick.
Yep. And
with, I think it was about 35 seconds left in the period, Owen Beck scores again.
Oh, wow.
So it goes up to 2-0. Okay, great first period for Saginaw. You're playing on home ice in the championship. They did great. They played really well in the semifinal as well to beat Moose Jaw and then to get into the final. And it was Joey Willis in the second period on like a partial break, and he sniped to go up 3-0. And I was texting, I was like, okay, I think we got the story here.
Yeah.
But give London credit, they came back and they got one before the end of the second period to make it 3-1, and then they came back in the third and to tie it up. And if it wasn't for maybe a couple bad bounces in the last minute, that game might have gone to overtime, and they would have, who knows what would have happened, right?
And that's the thing, shoot the puck, right? Because
That's right.
someone shot it hit somebody, and then it was behind the guy on D, and then all of a sudden it was kind of like a scramble.
Yeah.
Bloom.
And Buddy was laying in the net. Like, at that point, like, I know it's going to be a shot because it's the final
you have to.
minute or whatever, but you're better off to just grab that puck.
Yeah,
Like,
it looked like he was trying to like cover it with like his elbows instead of
just grabbing it.
And he just missed it, and it went over the line. If he had gone over to put his hand right on it, he might have had a chance at it. Who knows if it goes over the line?
Right.
But it would have been a penalty shot if that's the case. If he closes his hand on the
there
puck,
got
but
a
at least you have a 50
shot. The goalie's not laying out. It's not a wide open net.
Yeah, and you got Michael Simpson in that. I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take that. So it was a shot from the point. It gets deflected by a Knight. It deflects twice, gets to Simpson, goes through his legs. It's trickling, and then that backside defenseman dove toward the post, which is what you're supposed to do, and it just missed. It went over by just a few inches. And my dad was there. My dad, Dan Hedges, and his good friend Paul Wright, their former rink attendants at Harrow.
Yeah,
they went together, and they said it was bananas.
Oh,
like they just went insane, like in the last 20 seconds, because it was a really hype game. The crowds were getting into it. I guess there was a little bit of, I don't know if the scuffle is the right word, but like
a couple
people
scraps on the concourse, whatever.
Yeah, it was like there was some animosity on the concourse after
course.
Saginaw goes up 2-0 in the first period. There's some words being said, and people are getting cocky, but that's junior hockey right there.
Yeah,
that's
in a
junior
nutshell.
hockey. Host team similar to the Spits. Right, they loaded up during the year. They knew that they were going to be there, so it didn't hurt their feelings that if they lost in the Western Conference Final, which they did. They lost in 6 games to London because they knew they had a shot.
Yeah.
And full credit to Chris Lazary, Craig Goslin. I forget their GM's name. I'm sorry, but like they put together quite a team.
Oh, it's a wagon. Yeah.
And the cool thing is the story of Josh Bloom. He scores the game-winning goal. And it was like almost like a bidding war when North Bay released his rights because he got sent back from the NHL. Yeah. He's OHL eligible, and then North Bay who had a pretty good team, they released his rights, which I feel like that was a pretty classy move because they gave him the best chance to just sign wherever he wanted
go
to.
win.
The word on the street was that he was really close to signing with London. And then he goes back to the team where he started his OHL career, and he brought them the championship. It happened to be him that swiped in the puck.
See what I did there?
And also shout out to a local player that was on that team, Sebastian Gervais.
That's right. Bell River boy, if I believe. Played some AAA with Windsor AAA zone.
You want to know what I was just thinking too? If that guy
Congrats,
does
Sebastian.
get his hand on the puck, think about it though. London's got all the snipers on the ice, so you got to pick one guy on the ice to shoot the puck, right?
Yeah. You talking
But
about
that's
for
the
Saginaw?
No, I'm talking at the. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so Saginaw went at it.
Saginaw.
But they have some snipers too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But the more skilled players were on London.
Yes.
Right? You saw like just the shots that they were making. 13 shots, they scored 3.
That's crazy.
You can't go wrong against that.
It's-
Andrew Oak played well too for Saginaw, but like those were just pure goals.
And ultimately, like all year, goaltending was their struggle, and they managed to let very few shots come in, especially much less high danger chances on Oak.
I wonder how many they blocked.
That's
A
a good
ton.
Yeah, I'll
Like,
we'll look that
especially-
up for next time.
Especially
But yeah.
the defensemen, like who traditionally will have like more offensive pressure. Like Perek played great.
Yep.
Two-way. Like I gotta say though, credit to London, Sam Dickinson. He's gonna be a
Unreal.
top 10 pick for a reason. Like that game, he almost single-handedly willed them to win in the
Absolutely.
third.
Yep. He
Like,
had a
goal and
great
assist,
game.
but it sucks. And I think did it go that bounce you're talking about that ended up landing in the crease?
Mm-hmm.
I think it went off Bonk.
I think you're right.
And Bonk, same thing happened earlier this year. He had an own goal on Team Canada.
Oh no.
Team Czechia. That ended
Yes.
up like that's a tough go.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Good player though, Oliver
Yeah.
Bonk. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool that the broadcast showed Radek Bonk.
Yeah.
I used to love watching him play.
Radek Bonk, what a player.
Edmonton, right? Was it Bonk?
Ottawa.
Ottawa? Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. That's cool.
Speaking of the OHL, I was told today, inside scoop,
Yeah.
that Steve Yzerman met
Oh.
with Greentree, and then
At
he
the combine.
met with him again. So he met with him twice.
That's awesome.
What-
That's
well, what
that's
did
good
we
due
say?
diligence though.
What did we say?
I know, but I'm just saying. So just so you know, Yzerman met with him twice.
Okay.
So does Stevie normally just circle back for anybody? You know what I mean? So and Yzerman, we know he
literally
likes.
fits his mold.
Yeah, but Yzerman likes a big body too, right? So
well, the only
6'2". Yeah.
the only
Or-
concern
yeah,
there
6'2".
is maybe skating.
yeah,
Like his skating, he gets criticized a lot by the scouts online. They'll be like, "Oh, that's the only thing he can work on."
Yeah, but-
Also, there's a guy from Windsor. I want to shout him out. If you get a chance, go subscribe. NHL Draft Pros is his name.
Okay.
Didn't even know he was from the area, and then he starts getting like doing a breakdown on the player. Like he does every single draft eligible player.
Really?
And he's
Wow.
doing Greentree, and he says, "Oh, I watch this guy all year long because I live in Windsor." So I comment. I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome. Whatever. I'm from Windsor, also. Just giving my assessment of
Yeah.
Greentree myself." And he goes, "Yeah, I watch your podcast. This is on my personal channel." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll have to hit you up and do a discussion." So
Yeah, for
if
sure.
you have a
you're
name?
listening to this,
Yeah.
I did not get a name.
Okay.
Or might be Chris.
Send us
Might
an
be Chris,
inbox
but
and
yeah,
we'll figure
for
something
sure.
out.
Absolutely.
It's he does a terrific job. He's got like 25,000 subscribers, so
What?
he knows what he's doing.
Hit us up, man.
Yeah.
We'll love to do
Yeah,
something.
we'll
At
talk.
least
That's
that.
great.
Anyway,
I was just asking because I was wondering if I had worked with him
Green
before.
Tree though.
Yeah, so
Coming
back-to-back meetings with Yzerman. So
I love that.
Yzerman will not circle back on somebody if he doesn't like you, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So
You think he asked him his snap score? You see that?
I did see that Uber rating, right?
or he'll
Yeah.
ask him, "Do you smoke weed? I heard you smoke weed."
Yeah,
He said
it
that
was-
to someone too.
Oh my gosh, that was Doc. Kirby
I
Doc.
think so. Yeah, it was Kirby Dot.
Oh my gosh,
Interesting.
but
Well,
it's-
they got to get in. They got to know who the person is.
I
Like,
gotta
Does
say,
the
I
NHL even
understand.
test for that?
I understand the snap score though, because if you think about it, it shows where the player's mind's at, right?
Oh, yeah.
If they're like distracted and always on social media and it's me,
Yep.
and chances are they're talking to girls.
yeah.
That's a major part of who they are as a person off the ice. And I get that. Like, obviously to a degree. Like, you can't just assume always.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there was follow-up questions in regards to that.
But it's a good baseline.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
same with the Uber. Like, are these the kind of guys who are staying over at parties and stuff like that? Or
Yeah.
a girl's house and, show up to the rink late? Like,
Yeah, but why would you fucking risk everything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of these guys that do shit like that, like, I understand you're going to go out and party, and
What?
that's fine.
why would you risk everything?
But,
And
like-
you got to remember all the stuff that's come out, though, about draft eligible players and what they've done.
Well,
Yeah.
I know.
Like, they clearly don't care.
Yeah.
Some of these guys do not care. They have the chance to go pro and make millions in the league, and they still, like, how hard is it to not sexually assault a person?
Yeah, I know.
And they still go out and do it. It's
Considering when
ridiculous.
The girls are throwing it at you anyways. Like
It's
you're up to your elbows in it or up to your neck in it anyways.
yeah,
then
and
you gotta
they
do some
still
stupid
choose
shit like
to
that.
be
Yeah, it
idiots
doesn't make
about
sense.
it.
Doesn't
So,
make sense. But so let's just hope that
It
Heisman.
fits.
Yeah.
It fits because
Oh,
Detroit at 15, like
he was
Green Trees.
he was like 17.
He's
or
been
18
ranked
or something.
14, 17, 19.
Yeah.
Like he's been all over
He's
the
right
place.
around there.
He weighed in at 215, so he's 6'2", 215.
It's good size.
Spellacy weighed in at 6'2", 200. So the fact that Spellacy even got an invite makes me think that he's going to go a lot higher than we've seen. Obviously, like the mock drafts we said, me and Nate talked to one day. He got mocked at 203. He ain't going 203.
Yeah.
He's going top 120 to 150, I think. Yeah. And I think that's fair. And if he tests even better than that, like physically,
I think he
the
did well.
speed,
I saw they had all the tests come
yeah.
out, and like when it comes to physical strength, Green Tree was definitely up there. I think he might have had like the strongest grip strength or something like that.
Okay.
For his left hand, I remember just looking at all these things. Some of these guys though, some of these stats have got to be off. Like, who was it? Zane. They have Zane Perek being like 180 pounds, and I'm
Okay,
like,
but
there's no way they actually weigh the players. I can't believe that. I can't believe
what
that.
does your grip strength have to do with anything when it comes?
I don't
to
know,
It's
but I
just
was
a
surprised.
measurable. They just want to know.
Yeah, and like some of these guys, like the body fat percentage, they had who was it? Oh, there was a player. They had him at
Thrown
3.
in.
Someone came in a little flabby.
It'd be me. They'd be looking
That'd
at
be
me like,
They had one guy at 3.6%. I'm like, okay, that's lower than like Olympia level bodybuilders who step on stage who are 5 to 7%. People really undersell what body fat is.
We should do a body fat index for Hero Sunday.
I run on the beach. It's like an episode of Baywatch, and not in a good
You're
way.
David Hasselhoff.
It's not
I'm
Rocky
talking
and
one of
Apollo on the
girls.
beach.
I'm like one of the girls running on the beach. Just
Yeah.
the boobs are just
Oh, dude.
bouncing.
You're
It's
the-
not-
Pamela Anderson.
it is not a pretty sight. Let's put it
Yeah,
that
I
way.
can't imagine like back in the day when baseball was over, we would have tryouts at like the end of the summer, like Labor Day weekend. You usually have your first I could imagine like me walking in, say 13, 14, like, oh, let's measure your body fat index. So like, how high does this thing go? Because you're gonna keep going.
Like freaking you said, imagine the guys walking in on the first Sunday of like hockey league, and us like, all right, guys, let's measure your body fat. Guys would be like, what?
It's ridiculous. Like, but like just to say like, it's such a hard to measure stat because its distribution's different amongst people. But like, none of those guys there are under 10%.
Yeah.
Like, I personally am like probably 13 to 14%. So no one's
Okay.
going out there 3% body fat. You'd be peeled to the
What do
bone,
you
almost
think me
dead.
and you are combined, Brett.
Combined, 66. Me? Oh, geez, I'd got to be up to 50.
No.
I'm half man, half flap. Just kidding.
All right.
But
well,
the thing that I wanted to bring up though is that they measure it just to measure it, just kind of like like the hand size thing in the NFL that they talk about, like, oh, the quarterback, his hands only 9 3/4 or whatever. They always said like Russell Wilson had bigger hands than his size allowed. That's why he's such a good quarterback. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I noticed that Green Tree was the only person in the draft class who was the captain of his team, and I think that might be more of the reason why Steve
Yeah, he's
Eiserman.
looking at him, yeah.
Yeah, is there leadership potential? Could you see this player sticking around for 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 years?
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's a big ask because if you can plan a future with a player, okay, maybe I'll take him a couple steps higher than he's ranked,
right.
Yeah.
because he's a fit on the team.
Yep.
Right? Like, and I could see Green Tree in the future, like this being like a second or third line guy.
Yeah.
Like, get a little bit physical, but also have some finish to his game. Right? And I think that would be a great role for him. For Spellacy, third or fourth line center, why wouldn't you want that kid on your team? He's going to skate his legs off for you. He is going to block shots. He's going to kill penalties, and he's going to work. He's going to work.
He reminds me a lot. I watched this player a lot when he was draft eligible of a taller Cole Sillinger.
Okay.
Sillinger, when he was with Medicine Hat, the Tigers, very similar style, like that two-way center with a lot of, obviously at the time he was ranked a lot higher, ended up going first round, but just that potential is there, right? And especially with like they say, you can't train size, right? He's got it, so he's a big dude, and who knows if he's done growing. Some of these guys hit growth spurts later on. Like I remember Lane.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Lane Hudson was drafted, and I think Montreal got him second round. He's like 5'9", 140 pounds. And now he's like 5'11" and like 175, which is much more reasonable.
Big difference, yeah.
And like,
I swear Spellacy has grown since I started covering the team. His 2 years and Greentree's 2 years, there's been a lot more growth for Spellacy than Greentree because Greentree's baseline was higher, right? And I think that's a big piece. Like, can you see this person growing into, I don't know, a 6'2", 215-pound, 220-pound center who can take the physical toll that is necessary?
Yeah.
Do they have the mentality to know that they're going to play in the ECHL or AHL for a couple of years before they get a good shot because they need to grow? If they're 17, 18, they still got 2-3 years of junior left, depending on what their certain situation is. So there's a lot of big things that can happen for both of them. I could see Greentree going up at 15, like you said. I could also see him going down to like 20 or 22 based on need for another team, right? I could see him going at 19 to Vegas. I could see Greentree in a Vegas uniform one day, right? And the thing that I saw with Spellacy was that he was mocked 203 to Philly. The pick number doesn't match as much as the team does, in my opinion. I could see Spellacy in a Flyers jersey.
Oh, for sure.
Right? I could see him taking big face-offs on a penalty kill on a team in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because he's got those fundamentals that he's worked and he's honed them. And especially this last year, because his first year, he got hurt toward the end of the year and he missed some time. And he came back, and I feel like he really spent some time in the gym or doing whatever he did because he developed a lot during that season, right?
Yeah.
21 goals, 5 shorthanded. Like his assists were only 17 assists, but at least he's chipping in.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, he chipped in on 38 goals on the year. 21 he scored himself, and 17 he helped somebody out. That's something that those teams will look at.
Yep, and definitely also to that point, he could have a very similar career path to another former Spitfire, Tyler Angle.
Yep,
Angle, I remember he went down. He was like in the ECHL for 2 years, then the AHL, and now he played, I think, at least 1 or maybe 2 games with Columbus this year.
Good for him.
And
I always like Tyler.
Yeah, and they've kept him. They've re-signed him, I think, twice to 2-way contracts. Just bring him back. Solid AHL guy, hanging around whatever 2/3 of a point per game, and he gets his shot. And I like teams like that, like Columbus, that they allow those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
They're never just going to sell a player off because of draft pedigree or, this guy maybe isn't a points guy. Like, I hate teams like that, too, where they just simply, this guy doesn't produce. Hockey isn't all production. There's still, even in today's high offensive game, there's still portions of the game where you need those niche players to do things. Like Philly, as you're saying, as he's mocked to go, you look at it, they've got, what do they have all throughout the years? 2-way centermen, right? Yep. Claude Giroux, Sean Couturier, Scott Lawton, who's they're like every year a team calls and asks about Scott Lawton, and Philly doesn't give him up. Why? Because he's that leader, and he's the Swiss Army knife, right? The third line center. If you got an injured player, he goes up on the power play. If not, he's your, like you said, that first penalty killing unit centerman that goes out there and just a burner.
Value.
Yeah.
Value. And the thing about Columbus that I'll add too, with a small market team like that, you have to be able to develop talent because unfortunately for those smaller markets, you're not going to get big name free agents most of the time unless there's a sweetheart, like
Johnny Gaudreau.
Like a Johnny Gaudreau situation where he just wanted out somewhere. And like he's been okay for them from what I remember.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been
No.
as big of a thing like to say the Matt Tkachuk trade to Florida from Calgary. Right, so
what an interesting trade, like how Huberdeau fell off and everything.
Yeah, and like the know how, just like the not anticipation is the word we want to use, but like just the intuition to say, okay, I think we're gonna win this trade.
Yep.
Right. No matter what whatever the pieces were, I don't remember if it was 1-for-1, but trading Huberdeau for Tkachuk, you go, oh, okay, you look at that on paper, like, okay, what else did they throw in? But like.
It was Mac Weegar went as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Weegar, Weegar, yeah. But like incredible turnaround.
Speaking of those guys, Stanley Cup Finals.
Kachuk's not even on the graph.
I know. Isn't that wild? It puts Sam Bennett as the biggest guy up against McDavid.
Great beard.
Yeah.
So Stanley Cup Final, we all kind of figured this is, coming.
Florida in 7.
Yeah. Well, I had said Florida. I want Edmonton to win,
Me too.
but I had said Florida.
Interesting.
Edmonton, obviously, the chick with the huge rack probably pushed them into the finals. So that was she was all over the internet. Obviously,
Yep.
we're not going to touch too much on it. Everybody's seen it, obviously.
thanks.
So, but I just thought it was funny.
It is funny.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it is funny.
What do you guys think of this series? Like, can Edmonton crawl back into this series? Because if they lose next game, they're in one.
Well,
if they go down 2-0, it's
Yeah, let's break down game 1, because Edmonton was all over them.
yeah.
And then Florida comes back and scores on their first shot. And they this is what they've been doing for the last 2 years.
Is that Verhaeghe that got the first one? I think?
Yeah.
Yes. And unreal. We had just started the game and whatever, and I was doing some stuff. I come back, I was like, "What do you mean it's already 1-0?
Yeah.
What do you mean the shots are 6-1?
Yeah.
And it's 1-0 Florida." Like,
The Stuart Skinner effect.
I see, and that could be
Yeah.
the catalyst, because Bobrovsky is playing out of his
Yeah,
mind.
and Skinner, I think, used up everything he had in that last
Yeah.
game against Dallas.
And that's
Like-
fair.
Like
yeah,
that when he pulled out of the clouds.
the last 2 games he
Yeah.
was unreal against
And
Dallas.
man, it's just
Think about the 3 squads that Florida has beat to get there, and the 3 goalies that they've beat to get
Yeah,
to the Stanley
exactly.
Cup Finals.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And essentially, they have the easiest one in the finals.
Yeah,
Right?
that's fair to say. Yeah,
Like,
But there's also no other team in the league that has Connor McDavid.
no, I know.
That's the X factor where you look at it and you're like, I knew that as soon as that game 6 between Dallas and Edmonton happened. I'm like, yeah, Connor McDavid's not losing this game. Sure enough, first power play puts Miro Heiskanen on a spin cycle,
Yeah.
goes
Unreal.
backhand like shelf. Like it's just, I don't understand. I always talk with my buddy Tyler about this,
the
but
toe drag in the phone booth was unreal.
Yeah. And the puck, flipped up.
Pip, pip, pip.
how does he not just do that all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll do it on one shift, but like guys like him and McKinnon who do these
Yeah.
end-to-end rushes, like, why can't you do that every shift? Why do you
'Cause-
just decide like this is the shift I'm gonna pull this off? Like,
I think that NHL defensemen,
yeah, that's
their
fair.
skill level have a lot to do with it, right? And if he
Yep.
gets the right matchup and he knows their tendencies, like I don't know how much like research these guys do
Yep.
on like defensemen's
Yeah,
tendencies.
yeah, video
but if
and
he
shit.
knows that this guy's gonna bite on this, or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yep.
or he's susceptible to a toe drag or whatever,
go
that's just
wide or-
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just
just
great
that
research.
ability to, like, especially when you watch him, he has that ability to almost ignore all of his surroundings and
Yeah.
just focus right on the puck.
That's a great way to put
And
it.
like he's got his head down. Like, he's not even worried. Like, he knows, yeah, whatever. If I'm gonna eat a hit, it doesn't matter. I'm focused on this puck and getting to the net, and he does that. And it's almost like players are frustrated, and he just, like, even just you watch the little microcosms of his game where it's a 2-inch stick lift
Yeah.
to get that puck retrieval and put it between the guys, like, and you're like, man, this guy has every single move planned out before it even happens.
Yeah, I forget.
It's incredible.
I forget the one highlight that I saw. It was just a defensive play, and he lifted his stick or whatever, and then turned around and like let a rush. I forget if it led to a shot or not, but like, there's only like 2 or 3 people in the
Yeah.
world that can make that
Yeah,
play,
oh, yeah.
It's incredible.
and it's awesome that we're seeing him in his prime doing this.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's gonna be enough to win the series.
Florida's
like,
too
It's
deep.
going to come down to goaltending.
Florida,
man.
Yeah.
honestly, Florida has the best assembled team in the league from a pro scouting standpoint. You think about the guys they've picked up through trades.
Yep.
They assembled this team perfectly to be where they're at.
Yep.
Like signing Bobrovsky in free agency, overpay probably, but you got him.
Yeah,
And
well,
look where you're
You
at.
need an A1.
And think about the defense they picked up. They got Gustav Forsling on waivers, and now he's their number 1 defenseman.
Yep.
And he's probably one of the most underrated players in the league. Obviously, the most underrated defenseman, Brandon Montour, picking him up. Like,
Yeah.
just the guys they have on their decor, and they've already drafted Ekblad, their number 1 overall pick. And I believe there's a stat somewhere out there that the past, I don't even know, 20 plus Cup winners have had a first overall draft pick
Really?
on their
Okay.
roster. You need one to win.
This whole series has that first 4 picks from the 2014 draft. So it was
Yeah.
Ekblad, Draisaitl, Reinhart, and Bennett.
Yeah.
And so
You got to figure Connor's a number 1 overall pick too. So there's
there's several on Edmonton.
That's what I mean. But like how
Edmonton's
many?
one.
I don't know. Edmonton's got what, 4 of them? I think 3.
Yeah,
4
they've
of
got
them?
several from the top 4 as well.
What did they have? Nugent Hopkins,
Nugent
Hopkins,
McDavid, and
McDavid.
Dries too.
Draisaitl was number 2.
So
That's close enough.
yeah.
Struggling.
Shout out to Aaron Ekblad, Windsor boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say if they end up winning, you know anybody that knows him?
I'd imagine he'd bring the cup back.
I would assume he would bring it back to his
Yeah.
hometown.
And what are the odds that Lakeshore would jump right on that train, and they do like a duplex parade? Hey, we won the Schmaltz Cup.
It wouldn't be a
opposed to it.
It's a great
That'd
marketing
be
idea.
awesome.
It'd be a great idea, actually.
Yeah, great marketing idea.
There you go.
Well,
Lakeshore.
hire me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You got to capitalize on the local content.
Yeah,
right, like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
That'd be incredible. But like, there's another. Also, Brendan Montour is from I think Chatham.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, little known fact. Or Blenheim, one of the two.
Really?
Very close. Yes.
Oh, okay. I heard he was quite the lacrosse player too.
Yeah. Well, and then Paul Maurice is from Windsor, head coach. So.
Yes. Yeah, he coached the Spits and like the Detroit Junior Red Wings. He played for the Spits. Him and Pete DeBoer both played for the Spits.
And like I've seen a lot of these guys play junior too. Like I remember watching Darnell Nurse play Sioux Greyhounds, and that year that Windsor won.
Yep.
And they lost to Erie in the semis, I think, right?
Sorry. What
in
team?
the Mem Cup.
Who, Windsor?
No, or sorry. No, that couldn't have happened.
Windsor went undefeated in 2017 at the Mem Cup.
In the semifinal of the OHL. Did Erie beat out
Erie is
Sioux that year?
Yes.
Okay,
you're
yeah, I
right,
thought
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
I thought so.
The Sioux was good.
'Cause I
Darnell
remember
Nurse.
watching Nurse.
Yeah, Darnell Nurse, the first game I ever covered for the Lance at the University of Windsor newspaper.
Oh.
I was Sioux, and I remember it was Darnell Nurse that I
Yep.
took a picture of. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, he's a good player.
Yep.
Seth Jones. Was it Seth Jones? Seth Jones didn't play for the Sioux. That would have been Darnell Nurse because he played for the Sioux. He was really good in junior too. he was a big 6'3", 6'4" guy, and like can control the puck, everything. Yeah, I remember being like, okay, that's an NHL ready defenseman right there.
Yeah, I'm
And
trying to
he's-
think if there's anybody on the teams that I've watched in the
McDavid was incredible. I mean,
McDavid was on like a sellout tour
Yeah.
back when his final year. Like any team that he was playing, like Windsor was bad the year that he played against them. Like his final year against them, they were bad, and they didn't sell out many games that year. It was like maybe Mickey Reno Day, New Year's Eve. Like they'll sell out usually that, and it was like McDavid. So like that was the only like 3 times that they sold out that year. But he was worth the price of admission, man.
wow.
Every
Oh my
seat was
gosh.
full.
Yeah, he
him
probably had
and
about 8
Strome
points.
as well in junior. Like they were. I remember someone
Unreal.
ranked Strome ahead of McDavid in the draft. They're like, "Hey, here's the intangibles."
Yeah,
Idiotic.
it's not even close.
But
Can I
who
tell you?
else? They still had. Did they have Taylor Radish still as well?
Yes,
He was
Erie
gross in
had Taylor Radish.
And Darren
And
Radish. the
Taylor
brothers,
and
yeah.
Darren Radish. They had Dylan Strome. They had
They had DeBrincat at some point.
Alex DeBrincat
Yeah.
was unreal in junior. Yeah,
Anthony Sorelli. They were a
their
wagon.
goalie was Troy Timpano, who they got from Sudbury. And after, I don't know if you guys remember this, on the broadcast, Windsor wins, right? And then they go. They're showing the celebration, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and the cameraman goes down and pans down the Erie bench, and Troy Timpano harpoons his stick, throws it at the cameraman. Do you not remember that?
No.
No.
Oh, dude, look it up. It was wild. I was like, I can't
Well, there goes
believe
any
it. Like,
contract for you, bud.
yeah, I don't know if he ever played.
I would.
You might have bounced
If I
around
was
the
a
East Coast League or
cameraman and
something.
someone threw a stick at me, I'd throw my camera at you.
Yeah.
Nice 40-pound camera right in your lap.
Don't in your lap and be off your chiclets. Like, don't throw your fucking stick.
But yeah, I'm actually actively rooting for Florida, and I agree. I think Florida in 7.
Paul Maurice and Aaron Ekblad, I'll cheer for them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Maurice is a cool story too because he was a junior player for Windsor and
Yep.
he had that eye injury and
Yeah.
he had to call it a career and then ended up as an assistant coach on that team.
Yeah, three successful head coaches have come from the Windsor Spitfires.
Lots of
Maurice, Quenville, and DeBoer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All Spits.
a lot of guys like Bob Bugner hasn't won a Stanley Cup, but
Right.
like I would say you could put him up there too as
for sure.
successful. Like he's had a long career in the NHL. Like I don't remember him taking a year off. Like he's
Right.
always on someone's staff.
Yep.
So Yeah, what a coaching tree. And like all of our former coaches too, they always end up getting picked up for bigger deals. Like Rocky Thompson was the head coach of the AHL Chicago Wolves. Then he ended up joining Bob Bugner's staff in San Jose.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where he's at now, but like Trevor Letowski got picked up after he coached the Windsor Spitfires. They got picked up by the NHL. Mark Savard got
Mark
picked
Savard,
up.
yeah. Mark Savard coached NHL, then came back down.
Yes,
Yeah,
he coached with Berube in St. Louis,
Right,
and
okay.
then he came back and took Windsor, won the
Steve
Western
Ott
Conference
as well. Another
Yep,
guy.
yep.
I'm surprised Ott's one of those guys. I'm surprised that he's not a head coach yet.
Not yet, but
But I'm surprised he's not yet.
has there been any signings for the coaching staff for Toronto yet that I've missed? It's just Berube as of right now, right?
No, they signed another guy too.
Did they? Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe Steve Ott and Mark Savard are on
Maybe.
that coaching
That would be
staff.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know Mike Yo
Yep.
always bounces around with Berube as well. Does he with Philly or something as an assistant?
Yeah.
Lane Lambert.
Lane Lambert. Oh,
one
that's
of the
right.
assistant
He was
coaches
the
now.
head coach of the Islanders to start the year.
Yes.
And that was a failed project.
Now he's an assistant in Toronto.
They should have never got him.
solid though.
So I don't know. That's a completely different coaching staff going.
Yeah,
on
Lane
there.
Lambert. Yeah, former Red Wing.
So you guys got Florida. Like I said, I still have to say Florida because I said them.
They looked
while
great
ago.
in the first
I
game.
want
I mean-
Edmonton just because the aspect of the cup coming back over here to Canada.
That would be
But-
fantastic.
It would.
but
I
let's
mean,
face it.
the next 4 games, Edmonton could pull something out,
Right.
right? And completely change the narrative. But as of right now, it's Florida's series to win.
And they're at home in that place. Like all the people who try and make the jokes online, they're getting shut down pretty quick. Of all the Florida Panthers fans, there's all 4 of them. Like
yeah.
that place was packed.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, it used to be a
packed.
joke a while ago about how few fans were there. It's
Yeah,
like
but
that
now
in
they
Arizona.
got the rat game going. They're all firing the rats on the ice, and it's cool
Absolutely.
in the crowd because there's so many fans. You could tell that were there back in that '96 Cinderella story run, and they've got the old Panthers gear,
Yep.
the old Panthers caps with the claw and cat, and it's just
I had
so cool to see.
when I was a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember I had a Florida Panthers jersey. It was probably like a hand me down from a cousin or something. But like I vividly remember like, and people be like wearing it at school, be like Florida Panthers. Like what do you like? It's Harrow's a Leafs and Wings town. Like Florida Panthers. What are you doing? And like I had an Anaheim jersey too.
Yeah.
That was a hand me down.
Yeah.
You gotta say Jovo Cup.
Yeah.
That's who I'm cheering for.
Could technically.
Random fact. I went and played volleyball in my league this year at the grade school he went to. They have like a whole mural of Ed Jovanovski inside the school. I walked in,
Really?
I'm like, no way. I don't remember the name of it, but maybe something Milne or something like that. But the whole wall
yeah.
is literally Ed Jovanovski. Like it's got all his signed jerseys from junior up to pro, every team. So
That's good PR right there.
yeah, it is big time.
Yeah. Get the
Smart.
grade school kids involved. Good
Yeah,
times.
right.
So what does Edmonton have to do to turn it around?
Give the puck to McDavid.
Yeah. He's got to score a lot more of those
That's what I mean.
Dallas.
He needs to
that
be
first
greedy
goal
and
against
shoot more.
Dallas. Like
Yeah.
He's trying to pass too much. He needs to
he
shoot
is, and I find a lot of the Oilers are doing that. They'll get an open lane and they get what I like to call passitis. You know, their power plays where they sting teams, and they had plenty the other night. They had
did.
plenty. Florida was undisciplined, and they didn't cash in.
more. Shoot the puck, boys.
They
shoot.
looked dull. They looked like, and their defense is loose. Like when there is those odd rushes, like Nurse, he's not looking good in his own end. Like, I shout out though that Philip Broberg has looked really good for them. He was labeled like a bust, and now he's been terrific, if not their best defenseman in the last 2 rounds. He's looked great against Dallas. They took out Desharnais,
Yeah.
and then Edmonton looked solid again. There wasn't any bad odd man rushes except for that game 6 where Dallas peppered them, and Skinner just. Also,
Shut up.
I would not be exactly. I would not be opposed though. We'll see, and I think another thing that Edmonton is just going to run to is the gap in skill in net is just it's too much. Like all 3 of their goaltenders, they've got Bobrovsky, Stolarz, and Spencer Knight,
Yep.
who played in the AHL this year after coming back from the player assistance program. Like all 3 of those guys are better than Skinner, in my opinion.
Okay.
Stolarz this year had like a 940 or something as the backup, playing 20 games. So We'll see. If Edmonton, like Ant said, give it to McDavid
like
and also Draisaitl, I find needs to pick up the pace. I don't know if he's ailing something, but he looked a little dull on the rush. Like, it's the Stanley Cup final. You can't be messing around. Like, the one goal, Nurse is looking at the puck.
Yeah.
It goes in between his legs, wide out front, and
all you got to do against the Oilers is stay out of the box. Don't give them the power play.
and
That's all you
Florida
gotta
did that, and still they got away with one. I'll give them that. They got away with one, and Bobrovsky just
You're off the case, Bobrovsky.
I love that Jay Henry. What was his name? Poplinski? Bobrovsky. So awesome.
You're off the case,
On, right?
Bobrovsky.
Anything else, fellas?
I'm gonna start doing the team Twitter for
Yes,
for us,
you are,
right?
yes,
so
for sure.
so it's not at Hockey Hat, it's at Total Buttes.
Yes.
So I'm gonna take over that. We did get a new follower. We went from 20 to 21.
Look
So
out.
a couple of retweets is on there. So if you guys want to interact with us on
Yeah.
Twitter/X,
Yes.
I'm gonna take the point
Yeah,
on that.
we never really worked on the Twitter or anything like that. We always kind of concentrated on our Facebook and Instagram, but now it would be nice to get that going. So it's kinda
I like
perfect.
Twitter because like it's instant stuff for sports, right? Like, and I've always, it's a great resource. Like when I do my stuff for the OHL, like Twitter is a great resource for where I get a lot of trade news and like little tidbits and stats and stuff. So if you guys find stuff that you think might interest us, make sure you tag the account and we'll take a look at it. And if you guys want to get involved,
sure.
give us a follow.
Yep.
Anything else, fellas, or should we head out?
I think that's all.
Florida in 7.
There
Florida
we go.
and
These
7.
guys are saying Florida. I hope Edmonton, but it's going to be Florida.
I hope Edmonton turns it around, but the way that they're playing right now, Florida is going to take it
Nah.
for sure.
Let's go, Aaron. Bring it home, buddy.
See how it goes.
Reese.
So we'll probably hopefully get another episode out within the next couple days and everything. So on that note, until next week, we'll see you guys after. Enjoy the Stanley Cup Finals so far, and we'll talk in a game or two.
Yep.
See ya.
Peace out.
Peace. Enjoy Hat-Trick Hockey.
I've lost my fight with time. My number's up and up the line. I gaze at the darkness, so empty, just looking for the light. Shout for help, but no one's there. Need a guiding hand, someone who cares. All alone in the darkness, I've realized for the first time I am scared. If I could do it all again, if I had one more chance, my friend.